Hey guys, all right. We are on pause from the '03 build, and this is kind of random, but we'll be throwing it in there too because this is something that if you're doing your own rebuild, you might want to look at. So this is the oil pump off of this guy, and this is an '03. We have straight cut gear, so this is going to be a common rail style oil pump. We have to get into these guys to start cleaning it so that you can check the clearances, which you do have to do. You have two T10 screws, so you're going to go ahead and pull those guys off. You're going to wash everything up with solvents. So you're going to want to pull, and we'll go ahead and see if we can do this here. Boy, one-handed, that makes it tough. Let's see if we can get in there. Okay, I'm going to stick it on pause. I'll be back with that thing apart. And magically, we're back with this thing taken apart. Okay, so you're going to pull it apart to clean it. There is a bottom and a top, so they recommend that you write top on it so you don't get lost. This guy is fixed. I just wrote top on there so I could realign everything. So yeah, you've got a top and a bottom. Make sure you put top and that you wash everything out very well. You don't need any oil throwing your clearances off. So after you get everything clear, you're going to drop that guy back in there, and you're going to check a couple things. So we've got our feeler gauge. We're going to check the max clearance. So before we start here, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check between the gyrator and the body housing. So right here, the max is 15 thousandths of an inch on this. So max for it is 15 thousandths, and this one's spec'd out at about 6, I want to say. This is a 9 thousandths feeler gauge, and it won't actually go in there. You can, when I'm pressing it, and I've got it held so that I can take give it as much slop as possible, you still can't get I don't even think you can get an 8 in there. I think it was 6 or 7, which is well within spec. Now, one thing I do want to note, if you see how that's sitting up there, you can, if I pick this thing up, you'll see that guy drops down. That's because it is going up and down with the gear on the front that it's attached to. I did all of the actual measuring with this in my hand without pressing on that gear, just to make sure that it was as true to life as possible. Obviously, I can't do that while trying to show y'all. The next thing that we want to check as we're checking this oil pump is we're going to roll it around to the apex here, and we're going to take this guy, and we're going to see if we can fit a feeler gauge in between. So this is our 9 thousandths, and you're going between the point of the planetary and the gyrator, the inside of there. So that's the second spot we measure, and this is 9 thousandths, and I can almost get it all the way through. You can get an 8 thousandths through, which means no dice on this guy because the max spec is 7 thousandths. At least the specs that I found. Do your homework, as we say with anything, but these are just giving you guidelines, an idea. So if you're doing this on a 12 valve, the procedure is the same, but the spec might change. So the next thing that we want to do is we'd want to take a straight edge, something flat. We'd want to pick it up in our hands, and that's where it gets tough. We want to get it somewhere where we can get the straight edge, and we want to check. Go ahead and I'll mock this up. We want to check across the face of that planetary. And the max on that one is the gyrator to backing plate clearance, I think was 5 thousandths. So that gives you an idea of what this guy should be at. So that is how you would check those. There's one last thing that I didn't do because I don't have it on the motor yet. And I'm not going to have it on the motor because we're just going to buy another one. And that is we would check the gear lash between our gears and the actual crank gear to make sure that there's not too much in here. And I believe the gear backlash was between 3 and 13 thousandths. So you're probably going to be okay on that one. It's these others that might make you either need a new oil pump or not. All right, hope that was helpful to you guys, and we will talk to you later.